What would Jesus and his disciples have made of this? A high-tech camera floating around in a church. The entire fresco is being filmed. The flying lens is recording detailed images which will then be passed to a restorer. This method doesn't require scaffolding, so it saves a lot of time. But what's with the balloon? It's an ingenious invention that counters some of the disadvantages of drones.
A normal drone is much louder and can only fly for 10 to 20 minutes. If the drone malfunctions, it crashes to the ground like a stone, and it weighs 2 to 3 kilos. So we're the only ones in the world that are allowed to fly over people, as long as it's not huge crowds.
Helium allows the balloons to fly through long tunnels for inspection purposes, or to monitor building sites. They can also facilitate virtual visits, say to a trade fair, and generally provide help wherever relatively small payloads are involved. The h-aero drones combine aspects of a helicopter, a plane and a balloon. They can be flown right up into the stratosphere, where they could potentially be used instead of satellites in space. The technology was born in the southern German town of Baden-Baden. A humble apartment in the city centre serves as the company headquarters. Director Saba Singer is linked with engineers all over the world. Long-distance working was the norm for him well before the pandemic started. He's now backed by a number of large-scale investors, but he's still keen to keep costs low. The certificates on the wall testify to the approval of international experts, but unlike his invention, Saba Singer is very down to earth.
Awards like these are important, but what's much more important is being able to help with industrial processes, that you become more effective and more cost-effective, that you create technology which genuinely adds value.
And this is what that added value could one day look like. A drone that can fly for an unlimited period of time. Back in the early 2000s, a company called Cargo Lifter based near Berlin had a similar idea. Singer, who was still a student at the time, was involved in the project. A huge helium-filled airship was designed to transport heavy loads and looked very promising. But the project was too big, and the company went bankrupt before the airship was built. Singer is taking a different approach. He started off with small applications which he now offers in 3 different sizes. Every so often new ideas come up. An engineer friend of his has just sent a design for improving one of the components. So he's making it with a 3D printer, ready to discuss the idea later in a video conference. But are there potential ethical issues involved? Could these products be used as a new form of surveillance technology, for example?
There's a philosophy. You can use a hammer to defend yourself or to build a house. But it's cooler to build a house. You can still see later what else you could use it for.
Right now the drones are plug-in models, but Singer's goal is to have solar-powered drones that can fly for an unlimited duration. He's just received some sample solar tiles that he hopes will provide the answer. He also likes to keep track of what other manufacturers are doing, but insists there's no major element of competition. Singer says the other companies are also working towards the same goal: to make use of the airspace in ways that don't produce harmful emissions. So he's delighted to see German startup Volocopter making progress with its planned air taxis in Singapore. And with the concept of Amazon's futuristic drones delivering parcels in the US.
Feel the thrill of immersive flight.
And when the Chinese company DJI produces dramatic footage with its film production drones.
No matter which controller.
But Singer's own focus is elsewhere.
One area we're interested in is digital tourism. That would allow you to see the Notre Dame or another cathedral without traveling halfway around the world. Especially, say, for history or architecture students who don't want to travel.
Back at the church in Baden-Baden with Jesus and his disciples, the Helium drone goes about its work so slowly and gently that it barely disturbs the calm at all the way down to the relatively soft landing.